If you've ever been afraid to cut a whole chicken, today is where we end that fear for various reasons. One is because it can save you quite a bit of money when you already have a chicken pre-cut up and ready to eat whenever your recipes call for it. Two, because it's not gonna bite you. Let's just dive in because we can do hard things and you only need a few things to get started. For starters, your utensils, you'll need a knife. This is probably not the one I'm gonna use, but I just wanna show you don't need a fancy knife. It's just a regular knife. You'll need a fork, potentially, if you want to split the tenderloin from the breast. Set of scissors. Sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. And I have like this boning fillet knife that I want to attempt to use today. So we hope it don't make a fool out of me. And then of course, you need some chicken. I have 2 birds here. I've already dried them with my $30 worth of paper towels. And then I have this bucket that I'm going to be putting it in because I'm going to be using the carcass and other stuff for chicken stock. Then I have a bowl for the pieces. And then I have another bowl to put all like the gizzards and whatever it is, or maybe the skin. I don't know just yet. I like to have extra just to be prepared. And of course, you need a good old handy dandy, reliable cutting board that you only use for meat. So without further ado, let's get into cutting up this bird. In case I forgot to mention, you need like a towel in case your hands get too wet. What you don't want to take place is to try to grip a knife with your slippery, wet hand because you can cause some mistakes and potentially, hurt yourself. And we don't want that to happen in the kitchen. So for starters, let me make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to start with the first bird. Okay. Yes, she's still wrapped up in her napkins. She's a little shy. So we're going to take this off. I do my best to dry it as much as possible so that we don't have a whole lot of loosey-goosey business taking place. But sometimes that just doesn't happen, okay? So I dried her up a little bit. I have not taken out the innards of this chicken. Let's see. Some stuff gonna start popping out, I know. So here we go. And my little cutting board want to wibble and wobble. I don't like that. So this is the gizzards, giblets, organs, something. We're going to put this in our little bowl, okay? Now, I like to start with the legs. So we have the legs, we have the wings, we have the breast. This one still has a part of the neck attached to it. So although I didn't think I was going to need to use my scissors, I might need to. This is the inner cavity and all those other good things. So we're going to start with the legs. Remember, fat is your friend. I cannot express that enough. So right here, oh my goodness, this board keeps slipping and sliding and gliding. Okay, now I know this ain't the one I can use. Okay, actually, what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna do that. Never mind. As we were. So here we go. Here's the fat. You don't want to do too much cutting into the bone. So I'm just going to start right here. Look at that. It just cut effortlessly. Listen, y'all, we're just going to have to work with her sliding and gliding as long as y'all can see what I'm doing, right? So we're just cutting through some of this fat. And then we'll get down into some of these pieces here. And as you can see, right up in here somewhere, we're going to go ahead and cut this. I tend to take my skin off as well when I'm cutting up my chicken because I'm going to fry it so I can have me some like chicken juice. Now, keep in mind, all chickens are different. And this one is showing me she is very different because I'm used to there being a little piece somewhere in here. Oh, there's the thigh. Okay. Might have to turn her over. She won't be a little complicated today. Let's see. Told y'all, listen, I'm not perfect at this. I've only cut a whole chicken once before in my life, and I'm a scratch cooker. There she goes. I'm always cooking, and I love to save money in the kitchen, but it was just something about cutting a chicken that would just terrify me. So now I've cut one before, and I think I know what I'm doing. Truth is, I don't, and this is why I want you to know it's okay. You don't know what you're doing, it's okay. So somewhere up in here, we got some pieces to cut. And remember, every bird is different. I don't remember the last bird I cut doing this, but this is supposed to be organic. I don't know where that came from, but here we are. I feel like I'm on like a roller coaster, y'all. Please forgive me. Okay, so now we have somewhat of a thigh and a leg. So I'm going to put this over in our bucket because we're going to separate those later. Now that that first leg has really whooped me and made a fool out of me, we're going to go over to the second one and hope it's more gentle. We're just going to cut right here through. There we go. And I guess I probably could have cut some of this off already. Some of this skin is probably what's really in my way. That's good. We're going to save this carcass for chicken stock. Okay. Probably could have already broke out the scissors by now to simplify my life. But here we are. So I just want to make sure well, that wasn't a part of the game plan, but it's split now. So this should help. Y'all, I'm being so reckless with this chicken. But I just want you to see that I too am a semi-home pro cook, and I'm still not a pro at cutting chicken. And it's not the end of the world. You know what? This skin is going to come off anyway. I feel like I really don't know what I'm doing at this point, y'all. Because this is just not how it was the last. Bingo! I was looking for that bone. There we go. So maybe that's what it is. So here we go. We'll separate that bone. Here's our other thigh and leg that we'll work on separating later. I told y'all we was going to do two chickens. I only want to do two just so y'all can see that each bird is different because I feel like this one made a fool out of me. Anyways, we're going to take this and I feel like I'm missing some pieces of meat, but it's just going to be chicken stock today. This is going into our stock bucket. Now, we're left with some of the back since I didn't butcher that and the breast. So we're going to go ahead and separate these wings. I'm going to go ahead and dry my hands off first though, because I really feel that my hands are a little too wet at the moment. And I am going to literally bleach down my entire counter when I'm done. So down, because my puppy thinks that he can join the party and he cannot. What I don't want him around is raw chicken, because ain't nobody got time for no sick pup. But apparently he thinks this is his show as well. All right. I hope y'all are following along and seeing that you don't have to be scared. You just got to get out there and do it. It's not the end of the world. I think some of the breast came off with this wing. It did. Some of the breast did come off with the wing, and that is a-okay. I'll probably split it anyway when I get ready to separate this, but this goes into my parts bowl. And we're going to come over here to the second one, and we're going to do the same thing. But this time we're going to try not to cut the, well, yeah, I just think that we're probably going to have better luck on the second chicken. What y'all think? Because I watched 50 million videos on YouTube. And like I said, this is only my second time cutting the whole chicken. And these videos kind of making a fool out of me. Come on. This is where I should have grabbed the scissors. But I kind of don't want to make anything else dirty, knowing that I'm already going to separate the fat and stuff. I mean, the skin. Because I want this skin to fry it up so I can make some chicken juice. Not chicken juice, April. Okay, so I can make some oil. Meat oil from like animal meat is better for you than people like to tell you. So I try to save like my bacon grease and anything else like that. So we just gonna come on ahead and take this skin off. Now she's naked and all butchered up. And as you can see, I got some little nicks in here somewhere. But y'all, we've made it. We've made it to the breast. And once again, fat is your friend. I'm going to follow this little fat line. Let's see. Ooh, that came off a little better than I thought. We want this. This is the chicken tenderloin. You know, that thing that they charge us an arm and a leg for in the store. And it's because they kind of, you got to do some work to get to them. You got to do some work. I don't know how I'm butchering this breast like this, but here we are. And on top of that, I just want y'all to see and hear that I'm truly being my authentic self, because I struggle with when I turn the camera on. But I will tell you this. It's here. We've done it. I took that little bone out. I'll put it in our stock pot. But here's our first butchered breast. It goes into our parts bowl. This tenderloin. There was this trick I saw. That's why we needed the fork. But right now I can't remember. Oh, boom. It don't even matter what the trick is, because look at how that just came off. I'll use the fork in a second to show you the little trick I learned on the internet. And I don't think I need to pick up my knife just yet. Let me see what I'm doing. Here's some fat. So let the fat guide you. I don't know why people make it seem like fat is such a bad thing. It is not. And it's tasty. Okay. If you are still here, thank you for your support. I appreciate you. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you. As I'm trying to grow and show you guys how to stop eating your money, I certainly appreciate the support. Now, we went around the mulberry bush into grandmama's house, but there goes that, there goes that tenderloin that I was looking for. I tell you what, this knife, she ain't playing. She's slicing and dicing and she cutting and gliding. Let's get the rest of this chicken breast. I am going to have to put some feet on the bottom of this cutting board. So if you guys got any recommendations, please let me know, because this cutting board is not doing it for me. I want to get this little bone out of here. This is the perfect time to cut up whatever you don't want on your chicken. Here's our second breast that we have fought and fought and fought to get to. All right. Now we are at our tenderloin. And maybe this won't be as easy to take off as the other one was. They're supposed to be, you know what? I'm going to just, because my fingers are in here now. So we in there. There's a little piece I'm looking for. Oh, maybe if I cut this, it'll make life easier. What y'all think? This is the first time I've seen this. Again, only my second time cutting a whole chicken, a whole raw chicken, because I cut the rotisserie ones from like Costco or BJ's, wherever you get them from. I cut those all the time. Well, you guys, she wasn't pretty coming off either. But there we have it. I think I was supposed to like dig for the oysters. I don't know enough just yet. And we just might end up not cutting out the oysters. But here's the rest of the carcass. This is going to our scrap bowl. And what I'm going to do real quick is just rinse off my hands while I show you guys how to take this off. Okay, hands rinsed. And they ashy. And yes, I took off my wedding ring because I don't want to get salmonella in my wedding ring. Alrighty. So when we eat this little piece of the chicken, we don't want this on there. So, oh, the hack said hold that with a napkin. Well, we're just going to use a piece of napkin that we already been using, because anybody got time to be wasting napkins. So hold this, put your fork in between there, and take it to the house. There we go. And we can throw that in the trash somewhere. But here's our butchered tenderloin. So I'm telling you, you can do this. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be edible. And you know what? Once you throw some spices on it and you get it in your pot, nobody's going to know you butchered it, especially if you having like shredded chicken or something like that. So it really don't matter. Just stop being scared. I know it sucks because you don't want to look like me on the internet acting like I'm going to do some perfect pieces, and I'm not. That was chicken number one, y'all. Yay! We made it. Okay, and I've still only used 2 items. I've only used my fork, my knife, my board, and $100 worth of napkins. All right, let's get to our second bird. It's going to be a very similar situation. Hopefully, not as bad. And maybe I should start. Oh, that's where them oysters at, y'all. Anyways, here she goes. Let me go ahead and take out her guts and glory. Okay. Because we won't be, that one looked thicker than the last one. All right, same situation. Legs and thighs. We got the wings. And this, I'm assuming, is the breast because that's the back, right? Now, let's get into it. And then we'll chop up everything in pieces. And then after this, I'm actually going to still show you how to store it. So there goes the fat line. I said I was going to start with a different area. I guess I didn't think about that because in my mind, you're starting with the legs. But here we go. Let's find that bone and pop it. There we go. And now between this and this is just a little bit of cartilage right there. But you shouldn't have to hit any bone whatsoever. See that? It's sliced really nicely. We have our leg and we have a thigh into our parts bowl. My parts bowl is a little small, so I think I'm going to have to use this other bowl too that I had the chicken sitting and drying inside of. Onto the other leg. And as you guys can see, now that I've made my way to this second bird, I'm just slightly more confident and I still have no clue what I'm really truly doing. But that just goes to show sometimes you just got to do it. Just do it. Here we go. We're going to cut in here, but we're going to look for that bone. I'm really trying not to use the scissors, but for safety reasons, I probably should. But I told y'all, I didn't go to culinary school. I'm a home cook. So I did some things. I almost cut my finger off last Christmas, but we're not going to talk about that. So if knife skills is something you're looking for, I'm not your girl. But here we are. We've got this. The same thing happened with the first chicken. That when I popped the bone, it didn't cut that cartilage. So I don't know what happened with that. But it's very little to cut, if you see. See? Now, here we go. We got our leg and we got our thigh. Yeah, I think I'm going to have some chicken on the counter if I don't get ready to switch. Okay, so I think life will do me good if I go ahead and get this skin off. I hope y'all can still see because it's still gliding. I know I'm going to get to the editing and be real upset with how this chicken is not in the frame. So y'all forgive me. I'll tell you what, the next time I do any kind of cutting demonstration, I'm going to make sure that my board don't slide. Here we go. Let's get this here fat off with the skin off. All right, y'all don't be afraid to get in there, okay? If you're afraid of touching meat like this, then wear some gloves. However, if you've ever changed a diaper for a baby blowout, I promise you that is way worse than trying to cut up a wet, gliding chicken. So you can do this. We can do hard things. Remember that. Even if it means you're butchering it. I'm going to go ahead and take this off because I just feel like my life will be easier if I take it off. And now it's making a fool out of me. The first time I did that, it came right off. Bam, right into the stock pot. I'm probably going to cut some other pieces of that skin off. Okay. Let's get to this wing. Oh, the neck is still on there. That's interesting. I wonder if, yeah, let me cut that off. As you can see, you kind of do what you want to do. Y'all know that at this point, right? Nothing has to be perfect. Don't let nobody tell you that there's only one way to do something because this chicken shows that as many chickens get cut up on a day-to-day basis, there is, whoa, okay, April. There is certainly more than one way to do something. So just get in there. Get it done. There's that bone. Okay. Here we go. Bam, I got less of the breast this time, but we got a wing. Okay. On to the last wing. Hold on, let me just follow the fat. There we go. Here we go, guys. We are almost done cutting this up. I don't know why this one act like it don't want to escape the party. There we go. Okay. That was our last wing. Now we are down to the breast. So we're just going to cut down the center piece. You don't even have to do any hard cuts. I mean, I'm literally just doing simple glides, especially down this breast. Now the legs and the wings, they were a little bit different situation. You see that this is coming off way better than the first bird. Got a little breast left in the mix somewhere. However, I'm just going to slice it off. Or I'm going to come back to it because I don't have time to be fighting with no loose meat, okay? See this line? Just going to cut it. Just like that. And don't be afraid to just pull and tear. I mean, when it's all said and done, it's the meat you're trying to get. I hate that I keep reaching across like that. Sorry. All right. This breast looks prettier than the first one. But as we know, no two boobs are the same. So we're going to give all of them love. Okay. All right. Let's see. Oh, that is not what I intended to do. However, here we are. Where is it? Well, there's the tenderloin. We'll come back to this little piece with our fork in a second. Let's get this other breast off. And we will not be leaving this meat behind. Sure, I'll just cut it up and either have it in some chicken or something. All right. So the other breast. Okay, let's cut the fat. Because I have found that when I follow the fat lines like I'm supposed to, things tend to work out better in my favor. I guess I'm kind of lost on this piece. Let's see what's going on. Let's cut this. I feel like I'm cutting into my little tenderloin. Clearly, I'm the problem. And it's okay. Because you know what? We're still going to eat. All right, here's our other breast. Didn't come off as effortless, but it came off nonetheless. You know what? I'll come to that little piece after I'm done getting this tenderloin off. Here it is. I don't know what it is about this tenderloin that, there we go. Okay. Now, y'all let me know in the comments if y'all plan to cut a chicken or if you're going to go ahead and watch 30 other YouTube videos and do it. If mine was not good enough, which I'm sure it's not because I'm not a pro, that's fine. But if mine is like the 10th one you've watched, then that says it's time for you to just stop playing and go cut a chicken because you probably watched some that are way better than mine. As you can see, I have butchered the hell out of this chicken. But look, ta-da, we got meat. So, this I'm not even gonna fight with. We're gonna put this in our, oh, I am gonna probably take this skin off though. But I'm gonna put this in my stock and make some chicken broth out of it. Okay. So there we have our chicken parts. And let's see if I can get a little piece of paper towel over here. A piece of paper towel. We're gonna take this. Okay. And put the fork in between. I know that the image isn't the best because I'm having a hard time even trying to, okay, let's do this. My piece of paper towel is too big this time. That's the problem. Last time I had a little itty bitty piece. So take the paper towel, okay, put your fork in between. Slide it off. Okay. Same for this one. Paper towel. I just want to warn y'all, my fingers are cold. Okay. And I know y'all are probably like, man, it's not that big of a deal. It is that big of a deal because I do not want to eat this, and neither do you. I know whenever you've had chicken and you had that little piece in there, you probably like, oh my gosh. Like, you kind of ticked off, honestly. Here we go. Got my little tenderloins or tender somethings in my breast. What I'm going to do is wash my hands, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to lay out the pieces, and we're going to go ahead and cut up the legs and the wings and the thighs. Now that we have everything cut up, I'm going to go ahead and start cutting up the legs and the wings. So we don't need the fork anymore. I probably should have put that in the sink. All right, here's one of our thighs and tenderloins. They're a little botched, but they're there. Another something, that is not a thigh, that's a breast. And here's another breast. Okay, we're gonna slide that over there. Then we have wing 1, wing 2, and then we have thigh and leg 1, thigh and leg 2. Ooh, sorry. Okay. Here's another tenderloin of sorts. Another one. Here's a breast. Here's another breast. Wing. Wing. And then we have our legs. Slide over. And then some mysterious meat, probably from my tenderloin. But what I'm going to do to clean my board up some is I'm going to go ahead and put the breast and the tenderloin in a separate bucket. So that way it's out of my way while I'm cutting the wings and the thighs and legs. So let's scoot these over. Now, the lemon ain't worth the squeeze most of the time if you just have a few wings when you're cooking. So maybe you want to store these in a bag until you have enough to make, or if you're just by yourself and you want to make these, then that's perfectly fine as well. So it really is just a matter of what you decide to do. I am not going to cut all the skin off of these, but I am going to cut off some of the skin on these. But here's what we really came for. Okay. I am going to cut this in half. So this is the thigh, this is the leg. I hope you can see that. Let me make sure you can see it. Yeah, thigh, leg. Here's our fat line. We love the fat line. I feel like I'm at a bone. So right there. Okay. Keep it simple. I don't want to cut that bone. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but there we go. I'm April, the kitchen strategist. Welcome to my kitchen, where I help you stop eating your money, even if it means embarrassing myself, just so you can have a little bit more confidence cutting a whole chicken. So don't forget to subscribe and just go ahead and cut the chicken. Oh no, I wanted to take the skin off. I did want to do that. Okay. Oh, I guess I'll leave some of this on. Yeah, I'll leave some of it on. Sometimes I like a little skin. Alrighty. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to follow the fats once again. Okay. Okay, that one was a little more generous to me. And also, if you want this thigh to be boneless, all you have to do is like cut along these sides and like dip your finger under there and pull the bone out with your knife. But I am okay with some bone being inside of my meat when I cook it. And if I don't want it in there in the process, I'll just take it off. But I'm not adding any extra steps to my prep by trying to make my thighs boneless. If you are one of those people who like boneless, then you can definitely go ahead during this process and cut them off and cut the bone out. Also, I'm not afraid of a little fat on my thigh because it gives it some juiciness. But if it's too much, like this little sliver, yeah, I'll just cut it off. Remember, you're doing this for you and for your household. So you can really do whatever you want to do. It's really is your preference. That's the whole point of being able to do something at home. You can do whatever you want to do. And I know it's probably a problem. Y'all can see juices flying. Just know that I got a whole bunch of bleach and all other kinds of things to clean my kitchen with. Because one thing I do not play about is my kitchen, and I don't want anybody getting sick. So, fat. We'll follow the fat. Remember that. Let's see what we can come up with here. That look pretty nice. And this skin is kind of like flimsy. So we just gonna cut some of that off. Got another leg. What we doing with this here thigh? We just gonna cut this here skin off. That's what we're gonna do. Slice. Skin going. Okay. I'm not gonna worry about this piece right now. Actually, I am, because it's just a little too slimy and I'm not a fan. So, there we go. Thigh. Last one. Let's follow the fat. It's a little muscle in there. Okay. I don't know why. It's always one piece that just don't do what I wanted to do. But I'm doing this on camera so y'all can see that nothing is perfect. And for people who do stuff and make it look like it's perfect, kudos to them. However, I'm just not that kind of cook, and I'm also not a pro. So it's not going to be perfect coming out of my kitchen. But I promise you it's going to be good. And that's really what we care about. Flavor, taste, all those good things. Alrighty. Last little bit of skin that I want to get off of this here thigh. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and cut all of that off. Okay. There we have it. And so as I was saying, I guess I'll try to see if I can show you with this one right here. If you don't want this bone in here, just cut like right here. Cut around the bone. You don't have to cut on the bone. Cut around it. And let's see here. I feel like this is not what I saw in a video that I watched. However, I'm still not cutting any actual bone. But that bone will now go in my stock pot. And now I have a boneless chicken thigh. You see this little gristle here? You don't want that. Alrighty. Boneless chicken thigh. With your wings. You can leave them intact if you so choose. Or what you can do is you can take this little piece right here and you can cut up, okay? If you want, this is a perfect time to use scissors if you've never cut and separated a wing and a thigh. But I'm going to show you. If you come just right under here. See right there? Now we're cooking and come up just like that. For those of you who want flats only, there's your flat. And here is the leg. And since I've done it with one, I'm going to go ahead and do it with the others just so I can show you again. Anything that's excess skin, I'm taking it off. I will fry the skin later. But again, like I said, calm down. Now, I'm only showing you this for demonstration purposes only. This is not the way that I typically do it. And so now, although this is not, I don't often cut a whole chicken, I do often cut leg and wing parts. Like, I will separate them for my family because, you know, that's just how it is sometimes. But usually when I do this, I do it with a set of scissors, or I just flip the knife and make magic happen. So all you gotta do is find that middle part, split this up. There you go. That's how I typically would do it. So if you feel like you need to see it, then that's fine. Otherwise, just get under there. Get under there. I didn't hit not a single bone, and it's cut just like that. This one's got too much skin on it for me, so we're gonna go ahead and slide and glide. Today is the anniversary of when me and my husband met, and we had chicken wings and fries on our first date, so I'm probably gonna go ahead and cook these tonight and season them with his favorite sauce. All of our meat is cut. Let me wash my hands and show you how I store it. Okay, so I'm not going to bore you with showing you how I do all of these bags, but I just wanted to show you what I use. I use a food saver. It's an extremely simple process. I have sped through this video. I'm starting with the chicken pieces, the skins, because I'm going to freeze them and then I'm going to thaw them out later to fry them up. Just know that it produced a whole bunch of liquids and it looks absolutely gross, but I will be sanitizing it with some hot water and bleach, as well as throwing it, the little drip tray, into my dishwasher so that it can get nice and clean. I ended up putting the chicken skins in one bag by themselves. I put the chicken breasts in two separate bags, and then I put the legs and the thighs in separate bags as well. That way they are ready when I'm ready to use them. This little white basket over to the side is one I use to actually store everything in my freezer to keep everything organized. So I will keep all of my chicken pieces within this little bin, and then I'll go throw them in my freezer. And whenever I'm ready for whatever recipe that I have the chicken that I already need ready to go. We have multiple chicken parts to put into our freezer that will make several meals. And along with that, we have some chicken carcass pieces to make our chicken stock that we can use for various meals, broths, and all the things. So if nothing else, I hope that this video encouraged you to just go ahead and cut up that whole chicken. Even if you butcher it like I did, you'll still have meat in the freezer.